The Realest Thug I Ever Loved by Celeste Moore. Chapter 1. Fayola. Domo, do you need me to do anything before I head out for the day? I asked my boss and sister-in-law. It was 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and I was elated to be off early. Uh, if you would, take out the trash in the front. That's it. It's slow as hell, and there ain't that many appointments for later, surprisingly. Go ahead and enjoy your day. And tell my bitch ass brother to answer the phone sometimes. I've been calling him for the last couple weeks, and mama been asking about his ass too. I will. He's been working hard these last few weeks, and I can barely get in contact with him myself when he's not home. But I'll make sure I relay the message. After taking out the trash and cleaning up my workstation, I headed to my car, excited about being off work before 9 o'clock when the shop closed. As soon as Domo told me that I could leave for the day, I immediately started planning how I would spend my time. My fiance was a hustler, and he didn't typically get home until well in the evening. That meant I had an entire day to do all the things I wanted without worrying about attending to my man. The first thing I did was stop by my favorite yoga spot to see if I could squeeze into a last minute session. My body needed it, and I hadn't been able to go often with everything that I had on my plate. Next, I stopped by my favorite metaphysical store to pick out some new crystals. I tapped into my spirituality a year ago, and I was so glad that I did because crystal healing literally saved my life. With all the trials and tribulations that I'd had to face in my past, I couldn't help but be beyond appreciative for the way my life currently was. I'd always been creative, and I developed a hobby for doing nails a few years back. I finally decided to turn my hobby into a career by enrolling in nail tech school 2 months ago. My fiance Michi paid for it in full. I'd always known that I wanted to work for myself. I just never knew what I wanted to do. Now I knew that I wanted to run my own nail business. Michi promised to get me into a salon suite when I graduated at the end of the year. His sister Domo owned a hair salon and allowed me to work unlicensed. She paid me a daily rate between $150 to $200, depending on how many clients I had. It worked out for the both of us because she didn't have a nail tech and I was able to build my clientele so that I would be solid when I graduated. Monday through Thursday, I attend school in the mornings. Then after, I worked at the shop until close on Monday through Saturday. My stomach was grumbling by the time I pulled up to my favorite soul food spot. Because Michi paid all the bills and made sure I didn't have a thing to worry about, I made sure that I took care of home. I didn't care how late or tired I was. I always made sure that Bae came home to a squeaky clean house and a hot meal. That day, however, I just wasn't in the mood to cook. We both loved this restaurant, so I knew he wouldn't be disappointed that I didn't prepare him a home cooked meal. Hey, how you doing? Can I get two oxtail dinners? And for the sides, can I get dressing and macaroni for one and greens and sweet potatoes for the other? I placed my order when I got to the front counter. We just ran out of mac and cheese about an hour ago, the young cashier stated. Damn, how y'all run out this early? The dinner rush hasn't even started yet. Hold on real quick, I said, fishing for my phone in my bag. Michi was a picky ass eater. He didn't eat everyone's cooking, and he always got the same meals at his favorite restaurants. I decided to give him a call to see what he wanted in place of the macaroni before I brought home something that he wasn't going to eat. Hey baby, I'm at Ruby's and was calling to see what other side you wanted because they ran out of macaroni. You liked my cabbage last time you tasted it, so I'll just get you that, I said after the beep. Lately, I've been having to leave voicemails or he would take hours to respond to my texts. I couldn't lie, it was frustrating as hell, but I couldn't get too upset. I understood his line of work. Turning back to the cashier, I finished placing my order. Okay, I'll replace the macaroni with the cabbage. Can you also add a sweet tea and an extra piece of cornbread? Yeah, your total gonna be $32.59. After paying for the food, I sat in the lobby and scrolled through my phone while I waited on my order. My Instagram newsfeed consisted of spirituality posts and nail inspiration. I took a screenshot of a design I wanted to try on my mannequin when I got home. I had taught myself how to do nails by watching YouTube videos, and I could emulate almost any design. Once I received my license, I knew I was about to be a beast. Graduation couldn't come fast enough. The ride home was pleasant as I blasted Ari Lennox with the windows down, enjoying the August wind flowing through my locks. It was a beautiful day in Detroit. The temperature was 77 degrees and it was my favorite type of weather. I had plans on placing my chakra rug on the back patio and meditating for a half hour before I ate. Then I would practice my nail techniques while I waited on Michi to come home. This is odd, I said as I pulled up to our quaint home in a Harper Woods. Michi's black and yellow Charger Hellcat could be spotted from miles away. Our house was all the way at the end of the street, but I saw his car in the driveway the moment I turned the corner. It was only 5:30, and he'd never been home that early. I tried to maintain my zen state of mind because I had a great day. However, I couldn't help the irritation that was building up inside of me. It was one thing to be out hustling and not answering the phone. It was something completely different to be at home, not hitting me back. The least he could have done was confirm what he wanted with his entree. Deciding not to sweat it, I continued to my house. Meditation and nail practice was still on the agenda, so I quickly dissolved the negative energy before I got inside. There was a black Honda Accord sitting in front of the house that I'd never seen before. This nigga better not have a bitch in the house. The intrusive thought spoke to me in my head. Shaking it off, I grabbed my bag and the food and headed inside. Michi was a lot of things, but he wasn't a stupid ass nigga with that level of disrespect to him. I shrugged it off and assumed that the car belonged to one of his niggas. Sometimes our neighbors and their company would park in front of our house when the block was full. There were other empty spots, but I figured that was a possibility too. I struggled with the door while I juggled my bags, the food, and my tea. I hoped that his ass was upstairs and out of earshot because if he heard me at the door and didn't open it, all that positive shit was going out the window. When I finally got the door to open, I was prepared to cuss his ass the fuck out. Luckily for him, however, he wasn't downstairs.